AEW Dynamite was a show. It was on the air. It was okay at best. There were a couple things that I liked. And AEW still continues to have issues. And they need to work on those said issues. It's been 5 years. We will talk about those issues. And this show primarily focused on finalizing and building the card towards Revolution in 2 weeks on March the 9th. So we're going to get into AEW Dynamite from February the 26th, 2025. So we kick the show off with Edge. So we see an ambulance that pulls up in the parking lot. So Edge comes out the back door. He tells the Death Riders that he wanted to show them their ride tonight. And that was how we start the show. So we go into the first match of the night. Hangman Adam Page defeat Aaron Solo. Yes, Aaron Solo, the ex-boyfriend of Bayley. That jobber. It was a short match, which was good. At first, they said on commentary that Hangman was nowhere to be found, and then he showed up at the arena. He was dressed in street clothes. And then from there, he defeated Aaron Solo in about probably maybe 45 seconds or a minute at best. So he won via the buckshot lariat for the 1, 2, 3. I think it lasted, like I said, about 30 seconds at best. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. Moving on. So then Hangman gets on the mic. He says that there's 3 things that he hates. And the third applies to the man known as MJF. So he gets a steel chair. He says that he's not going to leave until Maxwell shows up for the beating of his life that he deserves. So MJF shows up in a purple suit, and he has a bloody towel, and he throws it on the ground. He gets on the mic, and he talks about Hangman Adam Page being heartless, saying that he's not facing him right now, and he's not even sure if he's got a prayer at Revolution. He says he'd better head back home and train for the match, but he remembered why he came out in the first place. He's worried about Hangman's best friend, saying Hangman should probably check on him before talking about seeing how real MJF is. So then he heads to the back. Christopher Daniels is laid out. He's bleeding buckets of blood. We all know that Christopher Daniels bladed the hard way, so it is what it is. So Hangman grabs his steel chair, and he goes searching for MJF. He finds Daniels, and he tells the medical staff to tend to Christopher Daniels. And then Hangman is, pissed off. Okay, this is a cool little way to start the show off. That's fine. I'm glad AEW is starting to do squash matches. It makes sense for the most part. So I'm happy in that regard. That does make sense. You don't need to be having Hangman Adam Page wrestle like a 10-minute match, kind of like what they did with Will Ospreay. That's one thing that pissed me off about the next match. So, this is fine. I am sort of kind of excited for the Hangman MJF feud. I wonder how long is it going to last. So, I would assume it's probably going to last at up until Double or Nothing. Maybe it might end at All in Texas. So there's an interesting way that we could get a trilogy out of this. You know, first match at Revolution, second match at Double or Nothing, and the rubber match at All In. So we'll have to wait and see how shit plays out. Moving on. So, Don Callis, he's in the locker room with Chris Jericho. So, Chris Jericho's backstage. He asked, how this match between Ospreay and Brian Keith came about. So, Don Callis, appears alongside Mark Davis, and he tells us how the match occurred. He said, talking about Chris Jericho agreeing to send a bounty hunter after Will Ospreay to be dealt with. Chris Jericho talks about being willing to help Don Callis out and how Brian Keith is now better thanks to him. So this leads us into our next match, which pissed me off. It was Will Ospreay versus Brian Keith. Why did this piss me off, you ask? Well, it's simple. This match went about close to 12 minutes. I don't like that. If you're going to push Will Ospreay, then Will Ospreay should have beaten Brian Keith in about, I would say, between 3 and 5 minutes. It really should have been like a 3-minute match to where Ospreay just, beats the shit out of Brian Keith. But since it's AEW, everyone has to be 50-50, and I hate that fucking shit. It's annoying. I despise that. That's bad booking. Why would you have Will Ospreay being in a feud with Kyle Fletcher, and he's just, wasting 10 minutes of his time taking out Brian Keith when you could have just easily beaten him, kind of like how Hangman beat Aaron Solo earlier on in the night. I don't understand why AEW doesn't utilize that more. If you're going to do squash matches right. That's the problem. That's what pissed me off with this match. Brian Keith is okay, but come on, man, seriously. Ugh. And then post-match, Will Ospreay, he went to the crowd to fight Kyle Fletcher and everything, and they were separated by security. Who cares? The fact that they're having a cage match, that being Ospreay and Fletcher at Revolution, I don't give a shit about it. And we know Will Ospreay's probably going to jump off the cage and do some type of crazy move, like a moonsault or something like that, or an Oz cutter, something. So I don't really care about this shit, Moving on. So, this leads us into Toni Storm and the Mariah May feud. We get a video package for that. That was cool there. That's okay. We get a video package for Womo Watanabe again. So Mercedes Moné, she's backstage. She tells Oceanside to say hello to the CEO. She's wondering where Momo is as Billy Starks appears. So it's basically going to be, it was basically a cup of water that Billy Starks had in her hand. So Mercedes knocks the cup out of her hand. She makes fun of, for making fun of her. So Billy Starks introduces herself before telling Monet to watch her back. And so Momo is standing behind the champ with a baseball bat. And then Mercedes flees, and Starks and Momo, they laugh, and that was it. Who cares about this shit? Why are we getting this on at Revolution? This should actually be taking place on Dynamite at best, or maybe even Collision, if we're being honest. I don't know, man. Moving on, the Outrunners, they defeat moving on. the Outrunners, they defeat the Murder Machines, Brian Cage and Lance Archer, two of the most useless sacks of shit out there. With the help of the Hurt Business. So the Hurt Business, they show up, and this allows for the Outrunners to get the win. And then that was it. That was the end of the segment. Now, is this going to take place at Revolution? Probably so. But AEW has a lackluster tag team division. So, it is what it is. I mean, I don't know. Moving on. Swerve Strickland, he's out next. So he gets on the mic. He gets a really good reaction. So he said, this is Swerve's house. This is how he's done this since he first signed AEW 3 years ago. It seems fitting that we're wrapping up Black History Month because Swerve says that he made Black history by winning the world title. He talks about how he showcased the title right up through the biggest event of the year last year, that being All In from Wembley Stadium. He says, make no mistake about it, the matches, he's still the man around here. He's still the best wrestler here, and to prove that, he needs some gold around his waist. But first, he has some business to deal with. So Ricochet took something from him, and Swerve insists that they're not done until he says they're done. So Ricochet comes out. He's still wearing Prince Nana's robe, the embassy robe. So Ricochet runs down Swerve. He says he beats Swerve and winners don't chase losers. Then he makes fun of the Chargers. So that's fine. Who cares, really? He says that he's chasing gold, something Swerve won't do anytime soon. So he's wearing a Philadelphia Eagles cap, which is cool. He declines Swerve's offer, but Prince Nana reveals that he talked to Tony Khan, and he's in agreement that the fans deserve a rematch. Ricochet scoffs at the idea, but then Prince Nana reveals that the winner of their match will be named the new number one contender for the AEW World Championship. So, Ricochet ponders about this. It intrigues him. He said, we're not going to do this here, but they're going to do it in a real California city, and the match is going to go down at Revolution. So then Ricochet leaves. So Prince Nana gets on the mic. He says that he has some business to attend to with Swerve. He says he wants Swerve to be the man. He said he is the most dangerous man there is. But after all the bullets he's taking for Swerve, he needs Swerve to beat Ricochet and get him back that robe for the sake of his legacy. Or he's not sure he can be here for him much longer. So I do like that. That does make sense. This puts some pressure on Swerve. No pun intended. Big pressure. So I do like this. This makes sense to an extent. But why in the fuck are we getting Swerve and Ricochet, and the winner of that automatically becomes the new number one contender? Because whoever faces Moxley is going to lose, and it doesn't matter. I still think the plans are going to have Moxley run through top guys, pause, and then have him lose to Darby Allin at All In. I still think that's going to be the plan. It's too damn long. This Death Rider storyline is utter shit, but that's kind of what they have to go with. But again, Swerve isn't going to beat Moxley. So even if they decide to do Dynasty in April, which they probably will, why would you have Swerve go over Moxley? Right? Like, if I was booking things and I had the pen, Edge would actually be the one to dethrone Moxley. Moxley would only be champion for another 2 weeks, and then that would be over with. Because This is honestly one of the worst storylines in AEW history. It's garbage. It's dog shit. All right. Again, so Swerve's not gonna win this. It sucks. My bad. Swerve's not gonna win the world title. He is gonna win this match. I would imagine from there they can still continue their feud. They'll probably end their feud at Dynasty, that being Ricochet and Swerve. So Swerve will get his win back at Revolution, and then maybe Ricochet will cost Swerve his match with Moxley for the world title at Dynasty, and then probably at Double or Nothing it'll be Ricochet versus Swerve 3, and that's where Swerve will get his win back. Or maybe Prince Nana actually turns on Swerve. So there could be a swerve in that. Nana could definitely turn on Swerve. So that could happen. You know, it makes sense though. It does make sense. It does. I like Prince Nana and Swerve together. It's great. But I do think if Nana turns heel, I think that would be great. Him to work with Ricochet would be interesting. That way Ricochet wouldn't have to cut promos. I mean, Ricochet can cut an okay promo. He did it last week, but this week, it was all right. But I am interested in what happens with the feud involving Swerve and Ricochet. Moving on. So Hangman Adam Page, he's in the parking lot. He's asked about MJF. So he basically left the building after what he did to Christopher Daniels. Hangman says when he finds Max, if he doesn't run the man over, MJF will wish he had. And so that was it. Okay, that's fine. That makes sense. Moving on. So the Undisputed Kingdom, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong, they defeat FTR and Daniel Garcia. Adam Cole wins via a roll-up, and this Saturday on Collision, it'll be Adam Cole versus Daniel Garcia for the TNT Championship. Who gives a fuck? How the mighty have fallen. I feel so bad for Adam Cole. He's in the mid-card, but, I mean, it's where he should be, but I'm surprised that he hasn't been in this Moxley nonsense either. I'm glad he's not. Don't get me wrong, because he would lose also. He would be, they're going to give Moxley a bunch of wins up until July. So, obviously, Edge is going to lose. Swerve is going to lose. Hangman's going to lose a couple times. And then by that time, Darby will be the one to dethrone Moxley. I just feel that's where they're going with this shit. I hate it, but it is what it is. It sucks. It really does suck because this shit's been going on for way, way too damn long. Way too damn long. You mean to tell me we gotta wait another 5 months for this shit? Damn. Whew. Moving on. So, this leads us into the Death Riders. They show up. So, Edge takes out Claudio. So then Marina Shafir comes out. She gets involved. Jay White comes out. He takes out Claudio. Edge hits Claudio with the concerto. Wheeler Yuta attempts to hit Edge with the Busaiku knee, but Edge reverses it. He gets out of dodge, and he inadvertently, accidentally hits Marina Shafir, which pops the crowd, and then Willow Nightingale comes out, and she hits a concerto of her own, and that was great. So this makes perfect sense. I do like this. At least Edge is finally making good on his promise. So next is going to be Wheeler Yuta, and I believe he took out Pac on Collision, if I'm not mistaken. So that's interesting there. Moving on. Harley Cameron defeats Deonna Purrazzo. This is another match that I didn't like. I feel that there should have been someone else in that spot, not Deonna Purrazzo. Deonna Purrazzo should honestly be a semi-top female in the AEW women's division, but she's not. I feel bad for Deonna. She's been there for almost a year. Come March, she'll have been there a year, and they've not done much of anything with her, which sucks. But it is what it is. She's just there for the money, and, such is life. But Harley Cameron gets the win. It makes sense. But I guess we'll have Deonna back on Collision. That's where my bad. That's where she's gonna go back to. It fucking sucks, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Oh. Moving on. So, we go backstage. So Pac is, he's laid out. So Willow Nightingale and Jay White, they're making sure that Claudio and Marina Shafir are sent away in the ambulance. So they're smirking. So this leads us into the main event. Tenosuke Takeshita defeats Orange Cassidy. He retains the AEW International Championship. Who gives a fuck? He wins via Raging Fire. I don't know why I said it, Burning Fire, but Raging Fire, my bad. He wins. Who cares? I really don't care about this shit. This is a waste of time. Dynamite was okay. I forgot to mention MJF. He was pretending to remove his AEW tattoo. So that's interesting there, I guess. Not really all that important to me, but it is what it is. Again, there were a couple good things on this show. I like how Edge got his comeuppance. He made good on his promise with the Death Riders. It does seem like they're probably going to turn Jay White heel eventually. That's just where the story is probably going to go, more than likely. Everything else on the show was kind of boring. The MJF Hangman Page stuff was okay for the most part. That's okay. I like Swerve and Ricochet. Their feud's pretty cool. Everything else outside of those three things was awful. I didn't care about the matches. They were boring as per usual. I have no idea what they're doing with the Undisputed Kingdom at all. I just don't understand it. How the mighty have fallen. I feel bad for Adam Cole. Not really, but it is what it is. Same thing with Deonna Purrazzo. I feel bad for her. She should be doing better things. It seems like I wish she would have went to NXT versus going to AEW, but it is what it is. There's nothing we can do about it now. Nothing. I forgot to mention that Mike Bailey, he is signed with AEW. They showed a video package of him on Collision, so he is signed with AEW. Okay, cool. Is that going to change things? No, not really. Not really. So that means maybe Josh Alexander is not far behind. I'm thinking what could happen with Takeshita. Maybe he loses to Omega at Revolution, and then that's when he's kicked out of the Donkhouse family, and he's replaced with Josh Alexander. I think that would make sense. I don't know, but it seems like that's where things could possibly go. But we'll have to wait and see. But Dynamite was boring, outside of a couple of things. But what did you guys think? Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.